I'll bite, Judd. What's the bottom of the truth?
Well, sometimes that is better.
Today we are going to be doing a discussion. Today's discussion is going to be on G4 TV. And sadly, it is dead. And no, this is not the 2010. This is the modern day. Apparently G4 came back a year ago thinking that they could exist in the modern day. And a year later, they're dead. So we're going to talk about this. And for people who are still tuning in, because we still haven't reached like 1,000 subs or anything, there's still new people hopping in all the time. I'm giving you a little PSA thing. I am not a woke channel. I am not a anti-SJW channel. So I will not be saying go woke, get broke, or whatever. I don't really fit in with that mindset. I don't really fit in with that mentality. I like to see things as they are and not try to radicalize anybody. So we're just going to talk about how this thing failed and how they fucked up and not make it political.
I didn't realize people were making this political. I just figured it was the thing that outstayed its welcome, really. Like, there was no more need for it.
So, the original G4 died years ago, and they recently tried to bring it back. And when they tried to bring it back, they were missing people from the original show. They were missing some of the original co-hosts that actually made that fucking show what it was. And they decided to get on, like, some YouTubers. And the YouTubers were fine. Like, they got Gerard the Completionist, and they got, fucking Scott the Woz, even though Scott the Woz was, like, a different segment tacked onto it. They would literally just show, like, clips from his show. They would just show random episodes on TV. So that one, like, you get a A for effort, but also no. And I think Scott actually did get funded by G4, so I hope he's okay with the collapse of G4. I know that Gerard the Completionist didn't even know he was getting fired until it happened. So that's kind of messed up. When the new G4 started up, they wanted to continue where they left off, but the people they got to do the new hosting were fucking annoying. Especially this little blonde woman. I don't know her name. I'm not going to bother knowing her name because she's irrelevant. And I'll hold a picture up on the screen of her so you know who she is. But this tiny blonde woman decided to mouth off to the audience. Now, like, this thing is just coming back, and already you have this bitch saying that she's not as attractive as the old host. People are mad at her because she's not a sex symbol. People are mad at her because she's not scantily clad or whatever. She immediately goes for sexism. She immediately goes for, you just want me to be attractive, and she immediately starts attacking the audience.
Well, that's a very surefire way to make no one want to watch your show.
And in her rant, she even said that if you don't like the show, don't watch it. So any good faith that G4 would have had was basically destroyed at that point. So like any of the people who were trying to come back, who were nostalgic for the property, hopped off. And any new people they were hoping to get onto the show won't exist because G4 is fucking irrelevant. Like, G4 is no longer needed. When gaming was a niche thing and there weren't like 80 different, actually that's not enough. When there wasn't 80,000 other gaming channels on YouTube, like, they had a place in society. But now I can literally go on my YouTube feed and see people covering the same topic 8 different times. Hell, if you're watching this channel, chances are I'm one of those 8 other people you see in your feed covering a subject well after everyone else did. Like, getting the news now today is more about the personality tied to who's talking about the news and not the news itself. And when the person talking about the news is an annoying, naggy, like, it's really hard to fucking, like, deal with it. And it's like, that's the whole thing. No one cared that you're ugly. No one cared that you are, like, a woman. people only cared about the attitude you brought. And the attitude you brought was immediately hostile to the people that you were trying to pander to and get to watch your shit.
TV, it's really hard to keep an audience because it's just so easy to flip the channel. It's like, this is kind of boring. I'm not really interested in it. You need to be on top of that. And YouTube, it's really difficult as well. Is if she were to be doing that kind of shit on YouTube, she wouldn't have any fucking fans, and she'd probably bitch about it there as well. And then that would be entirely on her. It's mostly on her now on the G4 channel, but like, you can't be like that. You can't be hostile. You don't get a fucking fan base like that.
With the whole G4 thing, though, it's like, literally, it's not a political thing. And I hate the people that are spinning it into being a political thing, because the reality of it is like, G4 was long past its due. No one wanted this thing to come back. Yeah, we were nostalgic for it, but the G4 that was resurrected last year was not the G4 I grew up with. The G4 I grew up with had fun little skits. It had film festivals where they showed off stuff that other gamers were making. Like, they had a lot of cool things for the time. But it's just like the people who wanted to bring back iCarly. It's like iCarly worked because it was in a fantastical setting of what they thought the internet was for the mid-2000s to early 2010s. Like, now the internet is concrete and everything is boring. I don't want iCarly to come back. I don't want G4 to come back because they're outdated relics.
I get people wanting it for the nostalgia factor, but let's be real. Chances are someone's going to watch maybe one episode, maybe up to 3, and then they'll probably turn it off because it's outdated. There's no need for it.
So I guess I would say that G4 became completely obsolete when Screw Attack started to gain popularity, and now even Screw Attack is dead. And Screw Attack didn't need an SJW menace to bury its fucking coffin. So let's not pretend like G4 died just because of this one fucking blonde woman.